Welcome back to the channel, guys. So we are at Huntley Gravity Zone, which is nestled right in Little Sugar up in Bella Vista. Now the reason why we're here, this is actually probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We actually rode Passion Play and then got back to Bentonville and realized that we've got some daylight and also that rain was coming tomorrow or that night, so we wanted to get some jumps in. Now what's nice about coming to the Huntley Gravity Zone is that it's a little bit rocky of the soil, but they've got great jump runs. So if you want to go to like a Kohler or a slaughter pin,
I'm just not feeling it, man. It sucks. I don't know what my deal is. I know, but I've done these jumps 100 times.
So we came here because it was going to rain, and these actually dry out pretty quickly. And it's when Kohler and slaughter pin are too wet, they're not too wet usually here at Huntley. So I'll tell you that if you've been following along on our Bentonville trip, you've probably heard me say this once and maybe a couple of times, but I had recently had an accident on my bike where I broke my shoulder blade and my collarbone, and I hadn't quite worked up back to doing some of the things that I was doing on prior trips. This is an easy jump run section for me. It's an intermediate, so it's not super green easy, but for a blue intermediate, it's pretty easy. And I was struggling to do some of these tabletops. I just was not comfortable. So what's nice about this place is, specifically this particular trail, which is Shock and Awe, is there's a spot at the top that you just saw us do of 2 tabletops, and you can turn right, and you can session those and session those and session those to get more comfortable with jumping and just riding on these types of trails in general. If you follow along with BKXC, this is actually where Rich Drew brought him to practice his jumping as well. So this is actually across the road from Shock and Awe. This is the Double Black Diamond Air Raid. This one, the last time I was here, I was hucking these first 2 tabletops pretty easily, and as you can see, so I pretty much stayed off that trail. But even these 2, you can session these pretty easily as well. This is the bottom part of Air Raid. This is the other guys. This is hitting number 3 and number 4 in the jump run. So we got a couple of shots so you can kind of see what they look like. Pretty fun tabletops. You can see on the left-hand side there, it's a bootery. It can get you up there pretty good. But the other guys that I was with was having a great time on this trail. So I was much obliged to ride down it and get some video and some pictures of them. So they're going to snake off on Invasion. I'm going to do Tango Whiskey. So Tango Whiskey is a blue trail. Really almost like a green blue, if you ask me. Very little jumps. This is just a bunch of berms, really. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What's nice about these trails out here in Huntley is the same company who built Whistler is the same company who built these trails. So they are built very well in the fact of you don't have to pedal. You don't have to carry your speed. You can literally just start the trail. And as long as you manage how much you're braking, if braking at all, you will ride the trail as it is intended. So this actually, you can see on the left-hand side is is Air Raid, and it comes together right here. You got a nice short climb up to the top. This gets a little confusing where it spits you out of the road, and you ride the road all the way back to the parking lot where Shock and Awe is. Now, those guys went off and they did Air Raid and Invasion a couple times. So literally all that I did for the next probably 20 or 30 minutes was these top 2 tabletops on Shock and Awe over and over and over again. Now it might seem a little monotonous watching these over and over again.
I'm getting it back.
But I just wanted to show you how, someone like me who's trying to get my mojo back, you can just, it's a good way to session, or if someone who just wants to learn how to jump, you can really build yourself up to it. And you can kind of see as you're watching this how I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable, starting to actually finally make the majority of the jump on the tabletop. where eventually I get fairly comfortable and decide to just send it all the way down Shockanogin. So, great place to ride. Come here when it's a little bit wet. You can't ride here when it's completely soaked everywhere else, like flooded. But if it's a little bit too wet on the clay cap trails, it's Slaughter Pin, it's specifically Kohler, and you want to get some jumping in, come here. It's a good time. It's got a green, it's got blues, and it's got black and double black. I do have another video on my channel of Huntley, so where I hit some of the other trails as well. So if you want to get a good flavor, go check that video out on the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out, suckers.